Welcome back, you guys. It's night 2 of Hanukkah. I just got in from work. It was the longest night of my life because I was just ready to be done. I've got a day off tomorrow, and then I've got a couple of work days, and then it's Christmas and Hanukkah's all week, and I was up last night late ritualing for Hanukkah, so I got another 7 days of ritualing ahead of me. So I gotta just keep burning that little wick. I am Hanukkah. I will last all 8 days. Even though I only have the energy for one. And so I think that our reading is our anchor message for the week. And so yesterday we did our energy forecast. And that gives us the general energy weather that's coming. And then on Mondays, when we do our anchor message, it really kind of goes more into detail about the theme of the week. And the theme of this week is really in alignment with Hanukkah, with Christmas, with the solstice, with the new moon in Capricorn coming up at the end of the week. It's like they're all included in this message. And we have so much support that is it's got our backs right now. It's insane. So just a couple of things on Hanukkah though. So Hanukkah is a window in time that is available to anyone. They don't have to be Jewish. And basically, if you set your consciousness on the metaphysical reality of what's going on right now, then you can really connect to it without a lot of effort or complicated rituals or anything too difficult. You know, there have been times this year where we've had to do a ton of introspection and letting go of, things and that we maybe weren't quite ready to let go of, or breaking habits. And so Hanukkah really is all about connecting to the light of miracles in a very simple way. It's the physical thing that you do to represent this is just lighting the candle. And you gaze into the candle flame to connect to the light. And the light in the candle is literally the same. It's a form of the light of the Creator, the same light that is inside of us, the same light that contains our consciousness, our soul, all of our gifts and talents from the light, and all of the things that make us us, but all the fullness and the wholeness of the light as well. It's all encompassed in the light. We all share one unified soul in the light. And so it's just about connecting through that flame, the flames of the candles, connecting to that truth and letting that wash over you. And as you do that, it's like the energy is being stored up within you in your soul, and it can create miracles. It can open up the door for miracles to happen. So that's metaphysically what's going on right now. And so basically, there's a special quality of energy coming through. And we've talked about the different high holidays through the year, and there's Passover in the spring, and then there's Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur at the end of the summer. And during these different holidays, there's an open window in time where light from the Creator is emanating all the time, but we are able to connect with that light because the veil is thin during that time. And so usually after those holidays or before, there's a period of time of challenge, right? Of the introspection before Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, or, habit breaking. There might be a period of time of challenges after the window of light, because all of that energy is getting grounded into our energy field, right? And it's kind of chaotic, and it has to go through a process of restriction to get grounded into your battery bank, right? Your storage. So with Hanukkah though, there isn't a challenging period of time before or after. It's just this blessing. It's just this period of 8 days where blessings are raining down upon us. And so you might notice that kind of around Hanukkah, there might be things that are challenging or a little scary, but miracles happen. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that worked out. Or like extra opportunities might fall in your lap. Or, like remember Jupiter came in and was expanding everything. It's sort of like that. It's like if you give an opportunity for Hanukkah to create a miracle for you, it really can. And so the more certain you are in the light, in the fact that everything is working out for you, everything is playing out for your highest good, the more certain that you are, the more you open yourself up to those miracles that are there for the taking. And so this particular light that we are able to connect to happens to be coming from the divine feminine. It's the supernal feminine force, the supernal feminine creation force of the universe. And it's about wisdom and compassion and understanding. And it's very merciful and very abundant energy, very nurturing energy. And so it's very interesting that our cards for the week, so out of the archetypes deck, we pulled the mask, we pulled the bridge, and we pulled the womb. And this bridge is the connection. It's our connection to the light of the divine feminine aspect of all that is source, right? So this womb that we're in, this is like the cosmic womb. This is the vessel to receive the light. And so we have been building our vessel to receive the light. This is very representative of us. This is representative of this period right now where we can connect to this nurturing, this protective light that's around us. Think of it as a mothering energy, something that it cradles us, it holds us, it is secure, it shelters us, it feeds us, it nurtures us, it rears us, it encourages us, it shapes us. It creates. The womb creates with itself, right? It creates something from really nothing that was there. It was an egg and sperm that becomes something, but that's very little to work with. So the womb is a space of creation. The bridge is going to connect us. The bridge is in our heart. It's this portal within that is the connection between our conscious mind and our superconscious mind and our subconscious mind, right? The bridge of the heart. We can go in deep into the heart, and all of a sudden we're in this great expanse. And so the deeper in we go, the further out we can get. But it's that portal through the heart where we can connect with the higher self. We can connect with the Holy Spirit. We can connect with the Christ consciousness. We can connect to that quiet voice of truth within us, the voice of compassion, the voice of security, the voice of wisdom. So this time this week of connection, it's like take your time to really turn inward in the evenings as you look at a candle and think about who you're becoming and what kind of miracles you want to draw in for yourself. If you could pick out a miracle, if you could pick out a list of miracles right now, what would you ask for? What would you call in? And if that were to happen, would you be ready? Do you have the vessel to sustain it? Right? If somebody were to give you a budget of $3 million to make your dream come true, would you even know where to begin? Would you know what to do with that? Like, are you the kind of person that can like follow up on the kind of work and wherewithal it takes to make it happen, right? So get clearer on what you want to call in, and figure out how to bridge the gap between where you are and who you're becoming, right? And have the confidence that the Creator will get you there step by step, as long as you keep showing up and going forward and giving your all, right, to everything that you're doing. The mask in this particular deck, like, I think when we think of masks, we usually go straight to the masks that we wear as bravado, as a facade, so that we can hide behind it, and we can present an ideal version of ourselves. Well, this mask talks about taking the time to go back and collect the parts of our shadow, the parts of ourselves that we have been shamed for or made to feel like they were unworthy of love. And so we may have maybe hid those parts of us, right, in the darkness so that no one could see them. But it's about reclaiming those aspects of us and embracing them and allowing them to be a part of us and our part of our personality, right, and owning that. It also could be about, like, I feel like it's about repressed emotions, because the repressed emotions that we're not willing to face, it's because there's a fear that they're going to overtake us. And so we're avoiding the emotions. But what happens is our subconscious is like, oh, it's not safe to feel emotions, so we avoid emotions. And then your subconscious comes up with all these defense mechanisms that end up repelling good things that you want, because subconsciously there's a belief that you're not safe to feel heightened states of emotions because you don't have control over them, right? And they can be chaotic and destructive. So what you have to do is say, okay, I'm willing to sit with myself. If these emotions are coming up, you know, I mean, the holidays can trigger people to feel bluesy, you know, and sad, and they can be pensive about their lives, you know, and that can kind of cause you to go deep and start feeling regrets and remorse and missing things and being nostalgic. If those things come up, don't run away from them. Don't avoid the discomfort. Allow yourself to feel what is coming up, because when you do that, like as someone who's had space from the event or enough perspective to like experience it, you can say, okay, this is how I felt about that. It was awful. That I didn't deserve that. That was shitty that I had to go through that. Oh my gosh, how scary, how terrifying. Wouldn't anybody be terrified? You know, I mean, like, let yourself feel the feelings. Say them out loud. Say how you felt. But by facing that fear, you're teaching your self-conscious or your subconscious that it's safe for you to process your emotions, that you can feel them without getting taken down by the narrative. You can feel them and digest them and let them process, and you're not reliving the experience again. It's not hurting you over and over again. It's already happened. It's done. And so you may find that you've been avoiding like thinking about something or feeling it, but in order to get rid of it, to get it out of your system so it's not perpetually affecting you, it's not perpetually bringing these lessons back through and around, you've got to work it out. It's stored, it's in there, right? And it's wreaking havoc. So the only way to get it out, the only way to transform it is to feel it. You got to go through it, right? So you may find though that when you face this feeling and the fear of facing the feeling, you might be less triggered than you thought. Like for instance, one of my patterns that's been coming back around, because that's what's been happening, right? We've been revisiting, or we've been getting little glimpses of our old patterns in different categories. And if we've been observing ourselves, we might have noticed that we've been handling things differently than we used to. We've been handling things from a more evolved place. Well, I went in for like a physical and I needed some lab work done, but it'd been like forever since I'd gotten anything done. I never go to the doctor. And I had been watching a movie where the main character, I was watching Dead to Me, and the main character had like an accident, and she was to the hospital, and they found like shadows in her x-rays, and as it turns out, like she had cervical cancer, and it had spread into her liver. And I was like, oh my God. And for some reason it just like the plot like hit me in a certain way. It was during that Neptune aspect that was making everything like heightened illusions. And so I just was like, I had already had this like weird sensation in my side for the like last couple of like few weeks or a couple of months, and I think it's from a rib, but like I had just, in my mind I was like, this is fatal. I just know it. Like, this is exactly what's happened to me. This is how the universe is breaking the news. It's through this episode of Dead to Me. Hopefully I've caught it in time. And so I've been like, for the last week or two, I've just been like on pins and needles that I'm going to get some kind of terminal like news. And I went in to have, you know, just the regular checkups done and like the lab work and all that. And they were like, okay, well, if everything's normal, we'll text you. And if something is off, we'll call you and walk you through it. I'm just like, oh my God. And they're like, it'll probably take like a week. And so in the past, I would have sat on pins and needles for a week. I would have been sick. I would have been praying night and day and like so afraid and so like white knuckled like control on like trying to like, I don't know, pray my way into like a healthy like, you know, result or whatever. And being like sick with fear, like mortal fear for the whole time. But this time I really didn't. I kind of went about my business. It was at the back of my mind, but I just kept choosing to be like, no, I'm sure everything's fine. I'm sure I'm just being really paranoid. It's going to be okay either way. I will handle it. Everything is going to play out for my highest good. And last night during the Hanukkah ritual, there's a psalm, and King David is, you know, crying out how thankful he is that the Lord delivered him, you know, when he was, you didn't allow me to be made sick or to die. Like, what could I serve? How could I serve you if I were dead? You know, who would praise you? You know, thank you for not, you know, whatever. It's just like basically like he's just so grateful that he's alive and well. And it seems like he had been through a very scary time where, you know, he was afraid maybe for his life and his wellness. And so that really hit me last night because I was still waiting to hear the results back. Like I was supposed to get the results in a week. And I didn't hear from anybody all day Friday. I was like, am I going to get a text? Am I going to get a call? Like, what is happening? It was like radio silence. And so the whole weekend, I'm just like, okay, well, I've got to wait for Monday. And I'm thinking, oh, I wonder if they have bad news, if they save that till the end of the day. And if they have good news, if they have texts, they like go ahead and send them out in the beginning. Like, I was just like, oh, but mostly I didn't think about it a lot. I just left it, and that line, you know, King David's prayer really hit me last night during the ritualing, because I'd already decided that I was going to be fine, that I was well, and that no matter what, I was well. And if there was a process that I had to go through, then I would do it, but I was already well. And so this morning, what woke me up was the text that everything was normal. And I was like, yes, thank God. So you might notice things like that this week where you're like, oh, I'm growing out of those old patterns. I'm beginning to embody this new self, which brings me to another point about this card. The book talks about how liberating it can be to put on masks and wear identities that we haven't worn before and experiment with different parts of our personality. And I've always been that person. I was in elementary school and I was like a super like shy introvert, and I'm still an introvert. I'm just not shy anymore. But I was terrified of everyone and everybody, and I was terribly depressed in 4th grade. And when I went into 5th grade, I was like, I am not going to be shy anymore. I'm going to make friends. I'm going to have fun. And I did. It was just like, I put on a mask and I faked it until I made it. And then it was like in no time, I built the muscle memory, and it was second nature. And so in a way, that's what we're trying to do with our higher self. We're not trying, we are becoming, we are blooming, right? And so gradually during this up level, the more that we can observe our patterns and the more we can consciously interrupt them and choose with our free will, oh, I want to act in accordance with how my best self would be. What would my best self do in the situation? What would my most liberated, conscious, like confident self do? My self with no hang-ups, you know? So it's like we're trying to put on that yoke so we can gradually embody step by step, decision by decision, inch by inch, little by little, put on the mask of the higher self until you make it, until it's natural for you, right? And in the meantime, keep that connection open, keep that conscious connection open to the divine and all the nurturing light that's coming in. So our tarot cards underneath our archetypes. So here are our archetypes. So our tarot cards that we pulled were 5 of Cups, the Devil, 9 of Swords, and the Star. And so the 9 of Swords and the Star were together. So what's happening here is, so we had, let's see, we had Mask over 5 of Cups. And so this is why I'm thinking that it had to do with facing repressed grief, because the 5 of Cups is all about being in a state of sadness and in disappointment and just, where did it all go wrong? You know, it's like beating yourself up, trying to figure out what could have been different, the woulda, coulda, shouldas, but it's really just about being just stuck in a state of sadness and disappointment and depression, and it's hard to let go. This, you know, phrases associated with this card are like, don't cry over spilled milk. In the traditional tarot art, with the Pamela Coleman Waite, she had drawn a character who was standing on the edge of a river and 5 cups had spilt out into the river. And it's like, you can't do anything to get the liquid back. It's already been poured out into the river. There's no way. There's no going back. Like, it's never going to be like it was ever again. And so we need to go ahead and allow ourselves to mourn the things that haven't been mourned. We need to allow ourselves to finally like own up to how disappointed we felt, how ashamed people have made us feel, or guilty, or how ashamed or guilty we've made our own selves feel. You know, like beating yourself up, wondering, oh, what went wrong? Why I could have done this so differently. Having that, like, going back and like thinking about the argument 67 more times, like, oh, maybe I should have said it this way, you know, just like let it all go. Let it all go. Let those parts that you've been scared to face come forward so you can finally be done with it, right? Because the Devil card followed this, and it's about breaking the chains that have caused us to be, like the chains that have bound us in addiction, in codependency, in destructive patterns, whether they be emotional, thought, behavioral, all those things that have a hold of us that control us, right? We want to practice restriction and discipline. And part of that is restricting the temptations of the ego, the temptations to reach for anesthetizing, you know, highs, to the temptation for anger, the temptation for fear, right? The temptation for lust, greed, laziness, slothfulness, whatever it might be. Just remember that one of the devil's greatest tricks is, well, one of the greatest tricks of the opponent is to make you think that it doesn't exist. But one of the greatest tricks of the devil is to make you feel like there's no other way. It has to be this way. There's no other way. There's just no other way. We have no other choice. We just have to do it this way. If you catch yourself saying that this week, catch yourself, because it's the devil. Or it's that devil sitting on your shoulder, and there's always another choice. There's always another way, right? That's the beauty of certainty. Certainty in the light and the Creator. The Creator is in everything. Mountains can move. A person can show up out of nowhere and be like, oh, I have that thing you need. Like, cue the person with the thing. You know, it's just like anything can happen. Anything can change. It's anybody's game at anybody's time. So don't think for a second that any hope is lost. We are overcoming the devil this week, and part of it is by overcoming the sadness. The female Satan which is interesting that I love that she looks exactly like me in this deck. Thank you very much. I'm not a devil. I'm a good girl. But this devil is a she-devil, and the female Satan, her whole shtick is making you feel really bad about yourself, or sad, or down, or guilty, or, you know, instead of grandiose, she makes you feel small, right? She makes you feel critical and judgmental and catty. You know, kitty's got claws. Like, it's just that insecurity, neediness, jealousness, right? Anxiousness, worry, fretting, nagging. And she always has the lovers depicted together, and they're always in some sort of like they're chained together and chained to Satan and playing out these patterns over and over again. But the thing is, if you look at the artwork closely, the chains are so loose they could take them off at any moment. So it's only an illusion ever that we're trapped. In a positive aspect, the Devil card also represents Capricorn. And Capricorn is our new moon. It's our bridge into this next year. So the new moon ending this year in Capricorn is going to help us really get clear on all those old patterns that we're breaking and the new habits that are going to set us up for success in the year to come. 2022 has been about laying the foundations and getting like the materials ready to start the build. 2023 is going to be about implementation. We're going to start putting the framework up, right? And so we're going to start seeing more results this year. But like 2022 has been so frustrating because we've been doing so much work, and it's like tilling the fields and, you know, burning all the overgrowth and getting all of the tools and the materials in order and everything. But it's like no payoff yet, right? Big phase 3 year where it's just like, oh, we're giving and we're giving and we're giving. We're devoting ourselves to all of this. And it's like, oh, where's the payoff? But we have to just keep giving, keep pushing through, because that's how the manifestation crystallizes and comes through. So Capricorn new moon, yes, going to be helping us have that self-mastery and discipline that is required to take us to the next level of our lives and overcome all the shadow parts of ourselves that have been holding us back, all of the self-defeating tendencies, all of those negative patterns, which is highlighted here. All of the negative thought patterns, all of this fretting, the fears, the fear, lack, doubt, scarcity mindedness, all of those ego patterns that have been wreaking havoc, all of this is being healed. And there can be some real accelerated healing and growth this week connecting to that light of Hanukkah. Every night, even if you don't have a menorah. Last year, year before last, I didn't have a menorah, so I got some Shabbat candles, and I got like a Rubbermaid, like one of those Tupperware like containers, and I put rice in it, and I just stuffed the candles down in the rice, and I lit the candles, and you just stare at the candles and basically meditate on the miracles that you're drawing in and the ways that you want to change for the better and how you want to share and give and create. Think about the things that you're excited about, you know, and the things, the miracles that you want to happen, that you believe can happen, or the miracles that you want to believe will happen. Maybe you're praying for the miracle of faith, of belief, right? Of certainty. So all of those things, pray for them out loud, bring them up, bring them forth for healing. The star there's not a lot of complexity to the star card. It's hope, it's healing, it's about your dreams coming true. And it's not one of the minor arcana. This is major, this is life-changing good things, right? Long-term, deep wounds and conditioning that are being healed and changed and evolved and transformed. And we've been doing the spiritual alchemy too. So that when we do that spiritual alchemy, it more than elevates and heals us and corrects our soul. It actually elevates sparks of light in all of the cosmos, and it forever changes that darkness into light. And so when we're evolving and when we're doing the spiritual growth and we're doing the consciousness work, it's not just for us, and it's not only affecting us, it's actually raising the vibration of reality. We're contributing to that. So just as you heal yourself, you heal others, right? All right, guys, I think that is all for today. Let us review real quick. We've got mask. We got the bridge. Eek. We got womb, which my womb is fine. Yay. Everything came back normal. And let's see, we've got 5 of Cups. Let that disappointment out, right? You know, any of those repressed feelings, they're going to be pushing up against the surface and causing chaos. So let them out, let them go, let them be processed and to be released. Peace and release, okay? We are going to be overcoming our negativity this week. So watch yourself if you think that there is no other way, or you get too fatalistic or too extreme, right? There's always a way out, right? Nothing is too complex. When things get too confusing, too complicated, too complex, the devil's there, right? The light is simple. The light is not complicated. The light is not always an easy pill to swallow, but it's not complicated and it's not confusing, right? It just may not be the answer that you want. So just remember that. And then be at peace and of good cheer, because there's nothing to worry about. And everything is changing for the better. There's a new dawn ahead of us. Miracles are here for the taking this week. So no more sleepless nights. There's nothing to worry about. Everything is being taken care of. You are being taken care of because the Creator is holding you, right? I am my beloved's and he is mine. His banner over me is love. In him we live and move and have our being. And what I think that means is that God is the universe. The universe is just one physical manifestation of God, right? And we are made of the universe, and the universe is made of God. So we live in God. God lives in us. We are made of him. He's having this experience through the lens of our personality, through each individual person, right? So I am his and he is mine, meaning nothing on the spiritual side can have any experience here without the little flesh suit people coming here and performing the play, right? We're here so that the divine source of all that is can experience itself through every different combination of personality type and experience. And we're all interconnected. And we're all one person and we're all individual at the same time. It's pretty crazy. All right. So yes, healing the thought patterns. You know, it really starts in the mind. That's why it's mind over matter. That's why self-mastery needs to start with the mind, because everything starts as a seed thought. Everything starts in the realm of inspiration, idea. It becomes a visualization in your mind and then crystallizes from there. And so your thoughts end up affecting the way that you feel. And your feelings, if they're perpetual, end up affecting your mood. And your mood ends up affecting how you're being and who you are anymore. And like, oh, I've just been in a funk lately. You know what I mean? So it all starts with the mind. And if you can keep your thoughts right, it's like getting rid of weeds before they get out of control. Pull them out now before they grow and get roots. So it's easier to stay on top of your vibration and cultivating your energy the way that you want to, but you have to maintain your thought realm first, right? Because if you can catch it at the source before, like, it's really hard to stop the insanity once your feelings get involved. It's like a whole a tempest, right? It's like once there's a good storm and a hurricane going on in your heart, it's pretty hard to just like pull the brakes on that and be like, hey, girl, snap out of it. Like, but if you're just like on a thought train and you're starting to like, have you ever had the argument in your head before anything ever happens? No one's even done anything yet. Cut it out there, right? Before you start getting worked up inside. Nip it in the bud before it becomes like a shitstorm of feelings. Once it's in your feelings, you're so much more invested and it feels real because you're having a tangible reaction. It's becoming more physical, right? So cut out the negativity before it starts becoming physical in your body, right? You know, we don't take our thoughts that seriously, but they have an actual effect. Whether or not they ever become words or not, it doesn't matter. They're producing chemicals in our body and it's having an effect. So think about that. All right, you guys, happy Hanukkah, night 2. I'm gonna mull some wine and I still have my chicken korma dish that I made the other night. It was really good. And I'm gonna ritual and I'm gonna eat my hamatzi blessed pastries. And I'm gonna try to keep up with singing Hebrew. It's really hard. Y'all would have laughed so hard at me last night. I was so tired. I was just like I couldn't get any of the words out. It was the worst I've ever done, ever. And I can't wait to try it again. All right. Ciao.